Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you may be. We are NerdTube, the greatest YouTube channel that you've never fucking heard of. I am your host for this special episode of Triple H. From the lame to the game, I am King Barius, aka DOZ101, and with me, as always, are my co-hosts, the Cerebral Gazassin. How you doing?
I'm all right. How you doing?
Doing great. And we got a special guest with us today, Santa Claus. Santa, how the hell you doing?
Hi, hi, hi. Hello, my friends. Hello. Nice to be here talking about the rain. The rain, I can't wait. Hi.
All right. And as you guys might have guessed from the title, this is all about the evolution of Triple H from the lame to the game. And we're going to go all the way back to when he was a kid. He was born July 27th, 1969. He is his first wrestling match involved Jeep J Strongbow when he was young, and he played basketball and baseball. Graduated high school in 1987, and he became a bodybuilder. Wanted to eventually get a job with WCW. Yes, Revolution Media, we're going to be getting to that. We're going kind of in order to start with. He ultimately trains with Killer Kowalski's school, and what people may or may not know is Triple H trained with Perry Saturn and China in that school too, to start with. So, what do you guys think about his early upbringing?
Well, to see Perry Saturn on the streets and he's known him for a long time, and it breaks my heart a little bit. You thought Triple H would help a bro and, try to get this guy on the straight and narrow. But what you hear about Triple H, he's very Machiavellian, I believe. So it's no surprise that somebody like Perry Saturn is now homeless and China is now dead.
Yeah.
So I'd like to say hello to Wrestling Lowdown. Hi, hi, hi. Welcome to the stream. Read the Triple H book? Oh, I'm sure it was all full of lies.
All right, and then we go to his professional debut, starting to train in 1990, the International Wrestling Federation, under one of the worst names ever, Terror Rising. I don't know why he came up with that name, but it is what it is. Um, let's see. He goes on
I,
to. Yo, go ahead.
I was the same because I mean the thing is that I think there might be some terrorizing matches on YouTube somewhere, but
Yeah, from
the
his
thing is that
WCW days.
yeah, but the thing is that they keep mentioning how much he's obviously a huge fan of Ric Flair. Like
Hmm.
the hair, the build, the way he works. It's obvious to me that he's a huge Ric Flair fan. So again, that was again but like a lot of WCW gimmicks at the time, they were misused. I think was that the Watts era. I'm sure it's the Watts era.
Uh, yeah, that was the Watts era where I think it was like outdated gimmicks, and you got disqualified if you got thrown over the top rope and other stupid things that happened in WCW. And then he
Yeah, so
signed a
like
contract. He signed a contract with WCW in 1994, um, and then eventually transitioned to becoming Jean Paul Levesque. And Triple H could not speak with a French accent to save his life. I thought that was one of the worst things that company had ever done. They did team him
He,
up with Steven Regal, though.
he did pull off the blue blood persona. Hey, what a grace and the movement and know that the hand behind the back like a fucking blue blood. But teaming him up with Steven Regal at the time was a good move in my opinion for sure.
Hmm.
I agree, I agree. But yeah, I think it wasn't long after that they let him go, and then he signed with WWF at the time, no WWE.
Yep. Hmm.
And
Yeah.
he basically did the same thing, but he did it as Triple H, whereas Hunter Hearst Helmsley, a lost it like wherever was it Massachusetts, like Vermont,
Yeah.
like they're
Like
doing
no, Greenwich, Connecticut. That's where
yeah,
they had him
yeah.
from, and he
So
would speak. He would speak with like that posh, like I'm better than you kind of accent, and yeah, nobody bought into it. And then one of the
here's this.
spots that one of the
Oh, sorry.
spots that we have to talk about is we may be jumping ahead, but it's the spot where he goes to do the pedigree and he drops that poor guy on his head on an episode of WWF Superstars. I don't know if you guys have ever seen that clip.
No,
but it was one of
them.
Yes,
I'm a very
yes, we did roll
oblivious.
down. Yeah, we did both. Kowalski did train him, but because his marriage coming in was this really hot blonde.
Yeah, he trained as a student of Killer Kowalski. Yeah, we did mention that.
Yes. So the thing is that he got paired with this hot blonde, but he wanted China to be his.
Yeah, he got paired with Sable. He got paired with blondes and all that kind of stuff. He made his pay-per-view debut at SummerSlam '95, where he defeated Sparkplug Bob Holly, which Vince.
I know. His first. No, that's not his first WrestleMania.
No, that's his first SummerSlam.
His first WrestleMania was against the
Ultimate Warrior. Yeah.
We'll get to.
Yep.
But yeah, he was, as I said, that gimmick was lame.
Yeah.
I don't see why this is called the lame to the game, because the thing is that that gimmick was outdated when he started doing it. That sort of posh, and plus the thing is that William Regal could do that gimmick because, he can lead into the fact that he's English, even though he's from the north of England. And plus he's been doing that sort of gimmick for a long time. But Triple H, Paul Levesque, whatever you want to call it, can't really do that. That's not really his stick.
No, but we're going to get into how you became the game, and going
before we start with that.
Yep.
Do you remember when he was still the Blue Blood Hunter Hearst Helmsley? He wrestled in pig shit. Do you remember?
Yeah.
Yes, I remember very well. It was very, very good, very funny.
And a lot of people. No, actually, this is before the curtain call incident had happened. That was before, or actually, let me check. Was it before that?
I thought it was because
no, it was before. No, it was before. 1995 was when he had that match where he wrestled in pig crap against one of the God ones.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, but anyway, the first WrestleMania he had was under the Triple H Blue Blood gimmick, and he got squashed by the Ultimate Warrior. I think because even Warrior no-sold the pedigree. He hit him with it, and he literally popped back up.
Yeah, the match literally lasted a couple minutes, and in the WWE, the narrative is, I know we're going to skip ahead, but going forward, basically, the curtain call, May 18th, 19th, 1996, Razor and Diesel leave to go to WCW. Helmsley and Michaels and Nash and Hall are all in the ring hugging, and Shawn couldn't get punished because he was the top guy at the time, obviously. Vince couldn't punish Scott and Kevin because they were leaving, so it all fell on Helmsley. And the narrative is WWE likes to make you think like the punishment was like him wrestling in pig crap and him, losing left and right and him jobbing the Ultimate Warrior. That's not true. That's WWE rewriting history. The thing that they did to him, though, was they took away his King of the Ring 96 victory because he was supposed to win the King of the Ring in 1996, but instead it ended up going to Stone Cold. What did you guys think about the curtain call incident?
Well, it's been mentioned in various ways. In this particular angle, looking at it from Triple H's point of view, what happened to him, obviously because he hadn't married Stephanie McMahon yet, and he wasn't the big star that he ended up being. Of course, he was going to get punished, but that's what Vince does. He loves to publicly punish people by humiliating them in the ring, and so I'm not surprised this happened. But it turned out good for him in the end, so fuck him anyway. But I just want to quickly mention something else.
Yeah,
is that I'm not sure why he was still the Blue Blood. This happened, but the name Triple H came from Shawn Michaels. When he heard Hunter Hearst Helmsley, he went Triple H, and that's how Triple H's name came.
Well, the thing is that because he was part of the Clique backstage, which was him.
Scott and Kevin.
It was Shawn Michaels. It was Sean Waltman. I think there's other people like what's his name? The guy who went to be Just Incredible.
Yeah, he was associated with. How true do you think it is? Triple H never partied with the boys and did drugs. Drugs part.
I know for a fact he doesn't drink.
He doesn't drink. That's for sure. He don't drink. But doing drugs and steroids and all that other stuff, that could be debated.
Recreational drugs or performance enhancing or both?
Both.
Probably both.
Okay, you might as well drug and drink then. I
No,
bet he
he
parted.
did.
Well, I'm sure when he was young, he fucked a lot of groupies, no doubt. Um,
I have heard that he's a non-drinker. I have heard that from reputable
Yeah, he doesn't drink. That I know for sure. But okay, basically what happened is after the Ultimate Warrior thing and the curtain call, they jobbed him out for a few months, and then he eventually won the Intercontinental title in late 1996 from Mark Merrill with the help of Mr. Perfect.
Yeah, because I'm not sure. I think this is around the time that China debuted. And
Yeah, it's getting to where she's about to show up because Mr. Perfect went on to.
I know people diss China, like certain people. Sorry, I'm having a cough.
Yep.
Diss China, but she is an Amazon of a woman. So she was an Amazon of a woman. You look at her, what she what? I think like she was like 5'10". Like 150 pounds, which for a woman is big.
Yeah, and China was actually somebody that was credible enough to beat up a man. I mean, her shaking Terry Runnels at WrestleMania 13 against Goldust was one of those sights that you'll never forget when you see it.
She literally like shook her and stuff like that.
Ragdolled her.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, plus the thing is like you know, when she, the thing is that like you know, and one of the things is that like Stone Cold loved her because because apparently outside the ring she was a very nice, very amiable person. And like you know, apparently like you know, like he didn't mind selling for her because like you know she would legitimately like smack you in the mouth and stuff like that. You know.
Yep.
So and the thing is, the thing is, she helps him so much. The fact he doesn't credit her more because they had a romantic relationship and he didn't go that well.
We'll get into that. Okay, so going forward, after he drops the Intercontinental title, he beats Goldust. He drops the Intercontinental title to The Rock on a special episode of Thursday Raw Thursday. And then he beats Goldust. And then Helmsley goes on to finally win the King of the Ring in 1997, going against one of his arguably best rivals in Mankind, because Mick Foley helped make Triple H, which we will be referencing Mick Foley a few times throughout this video.
By the way, did a poll. Yes, I saw that poll. I also voted on it as well. And yes, 100%. No doubt about it. Like I said, you know, he's the cerebral assassin. You know, he plays the game. You know, he knows what he's fucking doing. You know, with the clique and then Stephanie. You know, the guy, like I said, very Machiavellian.
And then Triple H and Mick Foley basically have a series of matches. Helmsley beats him, I think, at King of the Ring, and then again at In Your House, and then at SummerSlam in the Meadowlands in New Jersey, they have that cage match. And the most famous thing that happened in that match is Foley tearing his shirt, basically becoming the Dude Love character, and he drops the elbow on Triple H and wins the match to end the feud. And then Triple H goes on to form DX with Shawn Michaels, which we talked about that last time. If you guys haven't seen it, go back and watch that video, or a DX versus NWO video. What did you guys think about Triple H teaming up with Shawn Michaels and China and becoming D-Generation X?
Well, he was already part of the clique back in the day with Diesel and X-Pac and Razor Ramon. So it just felt like the natural evolution of things. You know, he tactically got in with those guys because he knew that's the place to be if you want to rise. So being along Shawn Michaels, you know, he's lucky, you know. Look, I just want to say something about Triple H right now.
Yeah.
I do think he's an okay wrestler. Nothing spectacular. His mic work is I don't think people give him enough credit for that. I think his mic work is excellent. He's very, very good. He sounds very natural on the stick. But in the ring, he's nothing spectacular. Nothing at all, which is why he has these long no DQ matches of various types, whether it be street fight or Hell in a Cell, or to elevate him, because he's just an average wrestler in the day. You know?
Yep.
So, yeah.
Well,
that's why you need people like Shawn Michaels with him.
I'm going to disagree. I'm going to personally disagree with you. The thing is that I think that he did the right thing in pairing with Shawn Michaels, because the thing is that's when the WWE started to go for a bit of an edgier product, because that's when Shawn Michaels started stuff in his pants and did the Judas Product suck it flaming thing in JR's face and stuff like that. And like, you know, because the thing is that it's like I dealt with it about either we go with an edgier product or we keep with the kid friendly shit. And it's like, no, we're gonna go for an edgier product, and it succeeded.
No. Don't worry, Cheeto. We're getting to the Stephanie thing. It's going to be coming up here shortly.
But as I said, as a wrestler, he is a very good ring technician. He knows how to get from A to B to C to D.
Yep.
He's very good at getting good matches out of really shit talent. I mean, like,
yep.
I mean, the amount of times he got really good matches out of people who, when they were taken away from him, like he got good matches out of Randy Orton when he wasn't really up to snuff. He got good matches out of Batista. He got good matches out of John Cena. He gets good matches out of guys who go on to be good wrestlers after they work with him. Now, there's a common factor that him because he's a very good technical sound guy. No, is he the most flashy guy? No, but he's good at like leading people. You know, he knows how to boss a ring. He knows, like, you know, when to slow the pace down, when to speed it up. You know, he knows about how to maintain the pace of a match.
Yep.
As I said, the problem is that, like, you know, the mic work is good, but he goes up a little bit too long. He's not like Punk, or he's not like an MGF where he knows how to get the pipe from. Sorry
to cut you off. Thank you, Cheeto, for joining us. Yeah, we appreciate it. See you later, man. All right. Go ahead.
But I think mic work, he's decent, but they let him go too long. And the thing is, when he was part of D-Generation X, all they would do is like keep everyone else like walking behind him instead of like joining in. And you're supposed to be part of a group. You're not there to build the rock. You're there to build yourselves. Yeah.
Yep. All right. No, go ahead.
My only counter to that is that when it comes to WrestleMania, and he usually main events the show, and then he gets countered by far better matches, you know. And so when he had his match, people are not interested anymore. How do you up Rock Hogan? How do you up Shawn Michaels, Undertaker? You can't, you know. And then he's always main eventing. It's just too much, you know. He's very good. The only thing I find fascinating about him is the fact that he became like the face of the company as a heel. And that was very unusual at the time, making a bad guy the face of the company for a long period of time, holding the belt forever. But then we always knew the politics involved were why. Not necessarily because he's talented, because he's fucking married to the boss's daughter. And nepotism runs wild.
And I know you guys want to get into that, but I have to kind of go in chronological order.
No, I totally understand.
Okay, so basically going forward, Triple H wins the European title from Shawn Michaels in one of the greatest comedy matches of all time. If you haven't seen it, it's the Christmas Raw episode of 1997, and Triple H and Shawn Michaels are like crap talking to each other, like, "Oh, you can't beat me. I'll put my European title on the line against you." Blah 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 blah. And then Triple H shoves down Shawn Michaels, covers him for the 1-2-3 after a big splash. 1-2-3, and then Shawn does that thing with his lips quivering, like, "I've been in cage matches, I've been in cell matches, I've been in ladder matches, and this is the most grueling match I've ever had in my life." And then Triple H goes, "Yo, Sarge, I did it." I thought that was one of the funniest things that DX ever did as a group, and it's a really underrated moment.
But I think this is around the time when Austin was getting really
he was getting built.
Yeah, and the thing is that Shawn dropped the title for him, and I think it was after that WrestleMania that Shawn just said, "Look, my back's too messed up. I need to retire." And
I'll get you to WrestleMania. That was Shawn's words. "I'll get you to WrestleMania," and he dropped it to Steve. And meanwhile, with Triple H would go on to have a good feud with Owen Hart throughout like the first half of '98. Their match at WrestleMania 14, I thought it was a really underrated match. I thought for what it was a pretty good match. What'd you guys think about Triple H working with Owen Hart?
Well, Owen Hart is one of the best talents to ever put. Me personally, and again, I'm talking for my own person, I put him in top 10 of guys who've ever read the ring. He never got the push he should have, because he's up there with Benoit for me. He's up there with Chris Jericho. He's up there with Kurt Angle. He's up there with with Bryan Danielson. He's up there with whoever else we're putting for bell to bell. Work, he was one of the best. I mean, I'm going to say something now that you could probably not. You're not going like. He was the best of the Hart brothers.
Yeah, it depends on. Yeah, I would say I think Owen was more agile than Brett. Like Brett was a better technician, but Owen could like do different type of things. Like he would do, drop kicks off the ropes, and he would do spinning heel kicks. He would do like real flashy kind of stuff. That's how I always looked at Owen, and I thought that people might disagree, but I thought Owen's sharpshooter was slightly better than Brett's for some reason. I like the way Owen did it.
I thought the Scorpion Death was better than both of them.
I actually agree with Boss Man. I'm just thinking about it now. We never got enough of Owen Hart because obviously he's passing, but he might have become a big star.
Mm-hmm.
He could have been a big star. We'll never know. And think of the potential matches he would have had in the early 2000s before he died. It's mouth-watering when you think about the wrestlers he could have wrestled back then.
Yeah.
But, I do agree with Boss Man. I think he has way more charisma than Bret Hart.
Oh, yeah.
And he can do pretty much what Bret Hart can do and more.
Yeah.
He's able to do the high-flying stuff very well. And I very much appreciated that. And it's just a shame that he's not with us. And, you mentioned his match with WrestleMania 14. The last match Ultimate Warrior had on the WWE was with Owen Hart, and I believe on SmackDown, and it was a really good match. It was a good match. Thank you very much.
I mean, Jose, I think I'm right about this, but Sean retired. I think Rick Rude had gone back to WCW at this point.
Yeah, and then Triple H. Triple H basically going forward that next night became the new leader of DX, and he brought back X-Pac, Sean Waltman, and the Outlaws also joined DX. And a lot of people, like I said last time, Triple H was very emotional at the Owen Hart Raw tribute show, which is one of the saddest shows you're ever going to see if you decide to go back and watch it.
Yeah, because he knows what Owen Hart did for him.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing is that, like, this is when the DX I personally came to know and love was built.
Yeah.
It was the New Age Outlaws. It was
X-Pac and Triple H and China.
Because the European champion I knew was X-Pac. Doing, and I thought it was great. I mean, that faction on itself was great, and it was good to see that particular faction. And this is when Triple H became the mouthpiece, and I think this is now. Again, we're going to talk about one of the more, shall we say, controversial aspects of Triple H's career. Now, one of the feuds they had was with the Nation of Domination.
Yep, that's what I'm about to get into right now. Is the feud?
Do you want to talk about it?
Yeah. Okay. So going forward, a lot of people had that misconception that DX instantly became baby faces. Not true. They didn't become baby faces until they started messing around with the Nation of Domination. And The Rock and Triple H, you guys may agree, you may disagree. I think The Rock and Triple H was easily the best mid-card feud of 1998 throughout the summer of 98. Both of them had a classic 2 out of 3 falls match at Fully Loaded 98. If you haven't seen that match, go back and watch it. It was when the Intercontinental title was arguably at the end of its peak as being a workhorse title. Then Triple H and The Rock have a really good ladder match in SummerSlam 98 in the Garden, the world's most famous arena, Madison Square Garden. And for two guys that don't do high-flying moves, I thought they actually had a really, really good ladder match. What'd you guys think about Triple H versus The Rock in 98?
Well, the overall feud is quite remarkable, really. I do remember that match very, very hazily, to tell you the truth, regarding ladder matches. But yes, it was good from what I recall. The Their feud kind of reminds me a little bit of the feud between Warrior and Recruit. There's a
Mhm.
lot of feud in the mid card, and I felt the same with them too. They were feuding mid card, and then they became main event feuders as well. You
Yep.
know, they always wrestled each other. I don't want to see them wrestle each other anymore, though.
Yeah. Not
I've
now.
had my fill.
Yep. Boss man, what'd you think?
I thought it was. I thought it was a really good feud, and plus it was obvious that because they were dreaming the Rock for
The
best
WWF
title.
title. Yep.
Yeah. I think the people that throw him against was to see is the same chemistry there for when he gets the belt, and would it work on a upper undercard sort of thing.
Yep.
I mean, that's one of the things that they don't do now, which annoys me, is they don't do that sort of have somebody run with the title, see how they work with the long title, and see who works well with them. That's when they push him up that next rung of the ladder, who they were through with. And I wish that both companies, both AEW and WWE,
Yes.
would go
That
back to
was
that.
Yes, that was China that low blowed The Rock, leading to the finish for Helmsley to capture the Intercontinental title. Unfortunately, Triple H didn't get to hold that title for very long because I think he tore his knee. It was one of the first big injuries that he had.
I think it's his quad again because that's the reason it blew up the next time.
Yeah, it was his knee or something with his quad or something had happened for the
He had
first
a few-
time. And
Yeah, how many quad injuries has he had? He's had quite a few.
He had one major. He had the major one, which we're going to get to.
yep, he had one major one, which we're going to get to. But okay, fast forwarding. Triple H, we're going to go ahead and move forward to WrestleMania 15. This is the Rock. Or is there anything you want to talk about beforehand?
The blackface.
Okay.
Let's talk about because this is something that WWE has sort of cleansed away. The fact is that they once dressed up like the Nation of Domination and did blackface.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah. Before we,
that's when he pretended to be The Rock. Yes.
Yeah.
Triple H was The Rock, and X-Pac was Mark Henry.
And the whole of DX had blackface on. It's
no, not all of them. Not all of them. Just X-Pac. X-Pac had blackface, and they removed it off Peacock. They like to pretend at that moment doesn't exist, but we know WWE. We know it exists. We know for a fact. But okay, moving forward to WrestleMania 15, Triple H would go on to work with Kane. He would lose by DQ after China basically turns babyface. They did this whole thing where DX would flop back and forth between babyface and heel, going corporate.
Heel, isn't it?
What?
That was when she said heel, isn't it?
Yeah, this is when he turned heel, and basically how it set up was China joined the corporation first, and then she rejoined DX, and then during the European title match of X-Pac and Shane McMahon, China would distract the referee. Triple H would hit the pedigree on X-Pac. Shane would retain the European title, and this is when the rise of Triple H began, and Triple H would spend the first half of 99 feuding with The Rock and getting ready to move on to face Stone Cold Steve Austin. And here's another controversial moment, not really from Triple H, but from Stone Cold. A lot of people like to give Triple H shit for being a backstage politician and one not wanting to do the job. A lot of people don't know Stone Cold was the one that refused to put Triple H over at SummerSlam 99. That's why Mankind won the title that night the way he did. Because Steve Austin was hurt and he needed knee surgery or whatever, and Mankind won the title for a night, and then August 23rd, literally the day after SummerSlam, this is when Triple H rose to the top by finally becoming the WWF champion after 3-4 years of just kind of floundering / being a leader of DX. But what did you guys think about Triple H winning the title for the first time?
It was inevitable. It was inevitable. He was always going to eventually end up winning it. With the sort of upward momentum he was going through. But it is quite amazing considering the bumps he had in the road. And then to eventually go on to win it. But then there are wrestlers who've had many bumps in the road. Jeff Hardy being one. I mean, it was always a surprise to see him winning it. He flirted with it for a little while, and then he finally won it. The Miz winning it as well, which is quite surprising. considering he was treated like an idiot for the early part of his career. But yes, so it's no surprise really. Come to think of it, that's how I look at it now.
Well, I think it was clever to give the title and see how fans will react to it. Because the thing is that I think Stone Cold at this point was thinking about wrapping up his career, and I think he'd been having those because I think his neck had really been bothering him at this point. And
yeah, we're about to get ready to get into that with the neck injury and the whole. Because now here's the highlight of the whole video, and I know you guys are waiting for this.
We're going to talk about this piece of crap. Sorry.
No, Jim Ross apparently. I never knew this. Gave him the idea to call him the game.
Yeah,
But probably that's also because Jim Ross knows he plays the game backstage, which is why he gave him that name probably.
but here we go into the highlight of the whole. This is arguably the highlight of the whole video. Okay, so around this time, Survivor Series '99, Steve Austin goes down and he gets hurt, and
No, he gets run over.
yeah, he gets run over by Rikishi, which they fucked up. But we'll talk about that as we get into
find out it ends up being a Rikishi.
Yeah,
they held that one for a long time.
Mm-hmm. But okay.
That was an interesting angle, actually, until it failed to be fucking Rikishi.
The Big Show goes on to win the WWF title that night in a triple threat match with Triple H and The Rock. And then Triple H interferes with the Test Stephanie McMahon wedding, which is the longest running angle I think that's ever gone on in the business that we're still feeling the effects of today in real life. The thing that people ask is the setup is Stephanie McMahon was in Vegas or whatever having her bachelorette party. She gets drugged and Triple H kidnaps her, marries her in a drive-through chapel. And I know people ask, shouldn't he go to jail for kidnapping and drugging her? These are questions that you don't have to ask because wrestling isn't real, I guess. And
it's above the law.
Mm-hmm.
Because this is literally when she was having her thing for supposed to be getting married to Test or something. I can't remember.
Yep, she was supposed to be getting married to Test, and then fast forwarding, he ruins the wedding by saying that we got married, and then Triple H versus Vince McMahon was a feud. Vince had turned babyface in this time.
I have to.
Go ahead.
It's amazing that there was no feud with Test.
Yeah,
like what the fuck?
They just gloss over him, like, yeah, dude, like, okay.
They absolutely wasted an opportunity there. We're gonna fight the daddy instead, and Vince was a baby face for the first time in his career.
Yeah,
but, in that first match they had. Sorry if I'm jumping ahead.
Yeah,
in that match they had, I actually enjoyed that match. It was really good. It was like a no hold barred match, I believe.
Yeah,
and there was one moment where Stephanie comes in the ring, and she's trying to stop Triple H from hurting her dad or something,
Vince,
and then
Vince was going to hit her with a hit her with a hammer, and then he was like, "Oh shit!" And then Triple H takes the hammer and just nails Vince with it anyway.
Well, but I think he looked like Triple H was going to attack Stephanie, and then Vince pushes Stephanie out the way and takes the blow himself.
Yep.
And then Triple H wins, and then we find out that Triple H Stephanie.
It was a ruse all along.
Yeah, it was Stephanie and Triple H all along.
Yep.
And it was a very good angle. I appreciate it.
Yeah. And I thought the storytelling there was really, really good because it was a no holds barred. I literally Vince would not quit even though Triple H was hitting him. It was everything but the flaming.
I'm sorry to cut you off. I was under the impression that Triple H and Steph had planned it from the beginning. Yeah, you could see it too. That they had planned it from the beginning. And then here's the controversial moment. I don't know if we're jumping ahead or not, but if we are, apologies. Chyna and Triple H during this time were actually still very much together in real life. And a lot of people, you guys may not even know this, Chyna was the one that pitched this storyline to actually happen.
Well, it seems to be a common thing. You do a storyline where you have a relationship with this person, and then you end up fucking having a relationship with this person.
Mm-hmm.
Benoit and Nancy being a prime example as well.
I think what had happened is that because China and Triple H were living together at the time. I think they were engaged to get married. The thing is that that Stephanie had written Triple H love notes or whatever it is, and then
Vincent gave his blessing at first, and then he was like, "Yeah, no, it's not going to work." And this is where I know people are going to have to sit and debate, because throughout 2000, you could argue if Triple H had earned this, or you could argue if he politicked his way through this. This is when he started holding the title for a long time, or he and The Rock would slap it back and forth throughout the year 2000. They had a great match at Judgment Day 2000 where it was that Iron Man match. And I think Shawn or Taker, one of them had fucked up the cue in the finish, and Triple H had won the title anyway. But Triple H and The Rock would swap it back and forth throughout 2000. And jumping ahead, Rikishi is the one that gets revealed to have hit Stone Cold, when in reality, it should have just been Triple H all along anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Right, but the thing is that I'm going to say something that you're probably not going to disagree with. The whole thing. I don't have a problem with it being Rikishi. Well, I have a problem with it being revealed that Triple H was behind it all the time, because that basically neutered his flame for Rikishi.
It killed his momentum anyway. So it was why would you have it? I don't have a problem being Rikishi. The thing is
they could have turned Rikishi to both a heel. I mean, he had the to do it. He had the. I think I would have changed his moveset to get away from the fame being
stink face and all that, and the bonsai drop. Yeah.
Do more mods. I mean, you could actually do the mods drop. That was Yokozuna's, but maybe he does it, and then all of a sudden, guys get dragged away, and he's looking over drag that. He does the Yokozuna thing of drag that peasant away and stuff like that.
Yeah,
he could lead into it, but I think the problem is that he was still using the same Rikishi moveset as a heel.
Mm-hmm.
That's the problem.
And then, let's see, where are we? 2000. Okay, so Triple H and The Rock would swap the title back and forth, and then Triple H would turn babyface during a feud with Kurt Angle. This is something that's not really talked about a whole lot.
Oh, that angle was so good, because this is one of the funniest episodes of Raw I ever saw, which was back to back, which was he played when Kurt Angle won the Olympic gold.
Yeah,
he started crying, and then he's going, don't say you're a sissy and stuff like that. And then he says, "But let's see what happened 24 hours later when you had the." And then he's literally crying again. He's like, "Thank you." It's actually pretty funny. Even Mick Foley comes out and jokes with him and says, "We've had a problem in the past, but let's see that again." It was really funny.
Yeah,
he showed that he does have a comedic sort of timing and stuff like that.
I'm glad that you did mention Mick, because I did skip over something. We skipped over Mick Foley, Triple H's best feud, arguably, against Mick Foley in 2000, with the two best matches I think Triple H has ever had: the street fight in the Royal Rumble in 2000 against Cactus Jack, which was in the Hell in the Cell the following month. Both were fantastic matches. If you haven't seen those matches, you need to go back and watch them.
The Hell in the Cell was fantastic.
Yep.
It really was. But then again, you have to... sorry, I was stuck in my throat. You have to remember that, it's really more Mick Foley selling than anything.
Mick Foley made Triple H in those matches.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the thing is that when... Yeah, after that, I think the last... Because WrestleMania was the
fatal four-way match,
which is the stupidest thing I've ever seen in my life. Because it was a big show.
WrestleMania 2000.
Yep.
McMahon in each corner.
It was Mick Foley. It was a big show. It was Rock, and it was
Triple H.
Triple H. It was Triple H, Rock, Big Show, Foley. Yeah. And then what they did was they had Vince turn heel just because The Rock didn't say thank you. And I'm like, that has got to be one of the stupidest reasons for a heel turn to ever happen in the history of the business.
But considering Vince McMahon is a very shallow man anyway, I'm not surprised.
Yeah, I
They
wasn't
realize-
surprised when they did it. Yeah.
I'm very
Yeah,
surprised.
you see
I'm
what
very
he did
surprised
with
that
Billy
it's-
Kidman.
is it 'cause of- I'm very surprised it's not because of a golden egg. But anyway, yeah. So anyway, so around this time, like, you know, this is when
Around this time, Triple H, like, okay, getting back to the point, Triple H and Angle were feuding with each other over Stephanie McMahon, and then after Triple H beats Kurt Angle, they do the Rikishi thing, and then it becomes, yes, we're going to get into when he won the Rumble. All right. So Triple H reveals that it was me all along. I was the one that orchestrated it, which kind of killed Rikishi's push, which you could have just made it all about Rikishi anyway, like you said, boss man. I agree. But they had to put the focus all on Triple H. And then Triple H would get dropped at Survivor Series 2000. This is another awesome moment. Triple H versus Stone Cold at Survivor Series 2000. Austin hoists Triple H up in a limousine or a Lincoln Continental car with a forklift, and he drops Triple H on the roof of the car, and it laid Triple H out for like a week or two, and then he was back.
Was he genuinely hurt?
Yeah.
Or was it just kayfabe?
I think it was just kayfabe.
Okay.
They gimmicked the car, and then Triple H would go on to main event with Kurt Angle at the Royal Rumble 2001. This is where Austin and Triple H had kind of wrapped up their feud with the 3 Stages of Hell and No Way Out 2001. I think the first fall was a wrestling match. The second one was a street fight. And then the third one was a cage match. Triple H beat Stone Cold Steve Austin, surprisingly, knowing that Austin had won his 3rd Royal Rumble and he was going on the main event with The Rock anyway. I thought that was kind of weird how they did that.
I think it's because they're trying to still build it, Triple H by having him beating Stone Cold, who is still incredibly over.
Yeah,
this is the WrestleMania when Stone Cold turns heel.
Yep.
Which I've got to say,
WrestleMania 17.
Dumbass WWE moves is number 1 for me.
Yep.
Having literally the hottest wrestler you've ever had and having him turn flaming heel, it's the dumbest move I've ever seen in my life.
And you want to know the crazy thing? It was his idea.
I feel like they also learned from it, which is why people, like, they went back, they reverted to old measures, like keeping Hogan. They realized Hogan staying face forever was money making, and that's why when it came to John Cena, they kept him face forever as well, is because they realized let's not, make these popular guys heel anymore. Especially the ones who sell merchandise. So.
And then Triple H would go on to work with The Undertaker at WrestleMania 17 over the fact that, like, The Undertaker had kicked a lot of people's asses and Triple H wasn't having it. He was all like, fuck you, dude.
No, it wasn't that. It's because he cost Triple H the title.
Oh, yeah, he cost Triple H a title match.
I know, because basically Triple H was the champion. He booted him, and then he would...
Oh, yeah, that was a... Jericho I'm going to get to because I did skip over that part in 2000 where Jericho won the WWF title for a cup of coffee. But we're going to talk about Triple H and Jericho here shortly. Okay, so The Undertaker beats Triple H's ass, and then the next night, the 2-man power trip, which for its time, I thought it was actually a cool tag team, having Austin and Triple H team up together to beat the fuck out of The Undertaker and Kane and the Hardy Boys. Yep. They beat the hell out of The Undertaker and Kane and the Hardys, and they were beating the crap out of Lita with them chairs. They were killing Lita with the chairs.
I remember that match well because all the champions were in that match. The tag team champions, and Triple H was Intercontinental, and Stone Cold was World Champion.
Mm-hmm.
And so it was a very interesting dynamic on that match regarding who was going to win what title, regarding pinning and stuff like that. But luckily, for the writers, they just made the guys who were tag team champions win the match so they could become tag team champions. It's a lot easier doing it that way.
And then here we go into kind of Chris Jericho, but the time that Triple H tore his quad, Jericho had Austin in the walls of Jericho. Triple H planted his foot the wrong way, and he tore his quad. And He was out for about 8 months. He missed the entire
yeah.
invasion angle.
He was out a year.
Yeah, he was out for nearly a year, and Triple H would come back as a babyface in the Garden because he was originally supposed to come back as a heel, but
Bless you, my son.
thank you. He was so over in the Garden because people had missed him that much, and he would go on to beat Chris Jericho for the undisputed title at WrestleMania 18. And this is one of those times where I defend Triple H as a backstage politician because he and Chris Jericho knew they weren't going to follow Hogan Rock. There was no way you were following Hogan and The Rock. And Vince insisted on having Triple H and Jericho main event that WrestleMania for the undisputed title, which should not have happened. Granted, it was a great comeback story for Triple H, but Hogan and Rock just killed it at that WrestleMania. But what
This is
you
the problem with Vince McMahon. He just sometimes he's lost in the hindsight.
yeah,
Like Rock Hogan was obviously going to be the bigger match, and they didn't main event it until bloody No Way Out. A few years later, where they made it the main match, even though it wasn't for the fucking title.
yep,
And same with Undertaker and Shawn Michaels. They made that one the main event the following WrestleMania, but it should have been the main event the previous WrestleMania. But they always, Vince McMahon, he just think, oh, this the belt is always going to be the most popular thing. But then again, he also packed the card with so many fucking matches that by the main event, people are fucking drained anyway.
yep.
Even with Taker, Shawn Michaels the second time round, even though it was a good match, people were tired.
Mm-hmm.
People are tired.
People were ready to go home. I saw people leaving when that happened. Yep.
So Triple H pins Jericho to win the title, then I think he loses it literally in the next pay-per-view.
Yeah, literally the next month he loses it to Hogan, and then he and Jericho wrap up their feud in an underrated Hell in a Cell match. That's one that doesn't get talked about enough.
I do remember, but you see, my only problem with Triple H then is this is like a period of his career where he was just going to beat anybody and everybody.
We're getting to that right now. We're going to get to that right now.
But it kind of started beginning here.
Yeah.
And that was my problem with it. And so I never necessarily appreciated what he did because I thought to myself, this guy's going to win everything regardless.
Yep. And here we go. 2002, Shawn Michaels comes back with the NWO. We covered that last time, so I'm not going to go into it.
So we need to talk about the NWO debuting here, which again is a great debut, but their favorite run here was meh.
Yep. Good idea, bad execution. Basically, Kevin Nash tears his quad. Shawn Michaels and Triple H are going to be brought back on Raw because Shawn went to Vengeance and said, hey, Triple H, here's the deal. You need to come to Raw so we can make Eric Bischoff's life a living hell. The next night, we talked about it last week. Triple H pedigrees Shawn Michaels, beats the fuck out of Shawn Michaels in the parking lot afterwards, and then they go and do their SummerSlam 2002 match, which was a great match. Originally, it was supposed to be Shawn's one-off. It was supposed to be his last match so he could show his kid, like, this is what I used to do for a living. And then September 2nd, 2002, Triple H gets awarded the big gold belt, the WCW title, I don't care what anyone says, by Eric Bischoff. And now here we go. This is the rise of...
You missed out the Elimination Chamber.
No. The Elimination Chamber comes after this because I'm going in chronological order. Triple H gets awarded the World Heavyweight title, and he proceeds to bury Rob Van Dam at Unforgiven 2002. This is why I have this name today.
It's called the
Reign of Terror. Yep.
Yeah.
The Reign of Terror begins with Triple H burying Rob Van Dam at Unforgiven 2002, and he had Ric Flair turn heel, and Evolution started to form. What do you guys think about Triple H being awarded the World Heavyweight title in 2002?
So to close, do you want to go through because I'm going to do a rant in a minute.
Well, okay. So from my perspective, I just see this is the man who's now married to the fucking boss's wife, so the boss's daughter, and it's just pure politics. Like he's just hogging everything, and then that's all I'm seeing. Like just make this guy the top guy in the company, and and it's really hard to go along with this when you
Mhm.
see the bigger picture, and it leaves a bad taste in your mouth, a bad feeling in your stomach, and that's how I looked at it, and I always look at it like that, you know.
Yep. And then, okay, No Mercy 2002, the following month, he
Oh
proceeds
god.
to he proceeds to do the worst angle, one of the worst. Yes, Papa Pump is coming up. He proceeds to do one of the worst angles by feuding with Kane and saying, "Kane, you murdered your
No, no,
girlfriend."
no, no, no. But before we do that, can I do a rant about this?
Yeah, go ahead.
Right. If you wanted to give him the title, why don't you have him win the bloody thing? You know, you could have a tournament and have him win it.
Yeah.
The thing is that like Triple H at this point is big enough to carry the title for a year, 2 years, however it is. But at least have him like be under threat, because like the thing is in this, the only people to beat him are like I think it's Goldberg, Shawn Michaels, even Big Pop. And the thing is that I'm a huge Scott Steiner fan. And even he gets buried by the family, the king of kings.
Well, but the thing is, like, because he's heel, just give him the fucking belt. I'm not even sure if I'd like him to have matches, just him to bury more fucking people to win the fucking belt. In a way, this was a good thing, and it's also a bad thing at the same time. But for me, it just with this moment with Triple H being at the top, and when nobody else was going to be at the top.
Okay. And then Triple H would go on to lose the World Heavyweight title to Shawn Michaels while Shawn was wearing those shit brown tights in the Elimination Chamber, the very first one, which for its time, for it being the very first match, I thought it was the best Elimination Chamber match that we've ever seen. I fucking hate the concept of the Elimination Chamber. I don't like it. Looking back at it, I think it's just a huge toy for the wrestlers to play with, and you shouldn't be putting your body through shit like that. But for its time, I thought the Elimination Chamber was a cool concept. I don't like it now, though. But that's just me.
It's a poor man's Hell in a Cell. With Royal Rumble elements thrown in there.
I mean, it's a cool idea that different wrestlers enter at different times. I like the concept because the thing is, it looks gnarly to take bumps on, but even so, it's still.
Yep. And then Triple H would go on to get the title back at Armageddon 2002 the following month because Shawn was like, I don't need this fucking thing. And he basically had Triple H take it back from him. And I thought that Triple H and Michaels, in their never-ending feud, I thought this was another great match. And then this is when Triple H's reign of terror literally started, was Armageddon 2002. He proceeds to win the fucking title back, and then in one of the worst feuds of all time, no fault to Triple H, it's just aging. Scott Steiner shows up, and he's like, I'll sign with Raw, but you have to give me a World Heavyweight title match at the Royal Rumble. And oh my God. You want to talk about worst match of the year? Royal Rumble 2003 is definitely up there with Triple H and Scott Steiner.
Well, every time, can I just say something? Right?
Yeah.
Every time they have a fucking pulls off, it never works.
No.
But
it's not Mr. Universe. It's favorite wrestling.
People wanted Scott Steiner from the Steiner brothers, who was a fucking enormous muscle-bound fucking human massive monstrosity, who was also extremely agile and high-flying. Once Big Papa Pump became blonde, he became a flat-footed, muscle-brown freak. And nothing more. The elements that made him so popular as a tag team wrestler were not there as a singles competitor. And unfortunately, we never got any of the Frankensteiners and all of that shit. We just got fucking belly-to-belly suplexes.
Yep, and lots of stumbling. Yeah, fucking stumbling and bumbling all around the ring. If you have the heart to watch the match, good luck to you. God bless you if you do. I've only seen it maybe a couple times. It's one of those I never plan to see again.
I'm going to disagree with Santa Claus. Because Big Papa Pun was more of a power wrestler than Scott Steiner was as the normal Steiner guy. He was because he was doing like the Frankensteiner off the top rope and all that sort of stuff. Whereas Big Papa Pun was doing like more suplexes and stuff like that. But the thing is that I think the thing is that Triple H buried him, and that was the problem.
Yeah, and this was the continuation.
By the way, I like Triple H more than both of you, but even I will say that he buried Scott Steiner.
Yeah, he buried Scott Steiner.
On top of that, and Scott Steiner went straight to the mid card after that. One time at the top and boom, now he's mid carding and working.
Actually, they did have a rematch at No Way Out 2003, which was overshadowed by Rock Hogan too. But yeah, you're pretty much right. And then this is the moment that pissed me off the most of Triple H's entire career. You had Booker T.
We're not going to the actual thing, are we?
We're going to go to when Triple H buried Booker T. I mean, flat out buried him. You had.
It's not the timeline where he's done the Katie Vick thing.
Yeah, we're past that now. We're past the Katie Vick thing now. The Katie Vick thing, this is when Triple H buries Booker T. Booker T, who was over as hell at this time, he eliminated The Rock, and The Rock put over Booker T by clapping his hands and being like, this dude's going to be a superstar. And the very next week, you had Triple H come out and say some of the most racist, vile shit you will ever hear in your entire life by being like...
So many. It wasn't necessarily direct racism, but my God, you could feel it.
You could feel it, yeah.
Yeah, without a doubt. And what upset me the most is that this, they let the racists win, in such a way that I'm sorry for interrupting, Jose.
Yeah.
But in such a way that my mouth would hit the floor like he pedigreed Booker T.
I was gonna get into all that though in order, but we'll get there. But okay,
can I just say something? Right. I'm obviously not black, but even I was offended when he said people like you.
Because I was gonna go back to the promo where he was like, it starts off with him saying, "You're here to sing, you're here to dance, you're here to entertain," and then they follow it up with Triple H giving Booker T like a $50 bill by being like, "Get me a towel," and I'm like, this has got to be some of the most racist, insensitive shit that they have ever done. And you had Booker T kick Triple H's ass all the way up to WrestleMania 19, where Booker T even busted out the Houston fucking Hangover or the Harlem Hangover, a move that he hadn't done in years. And Triple H pedigrees him, and it takes him like 3 days to crawl over and drape the hand over, and Booker T lost. And it's like,
I want to quickly add that prior to that, I believe on SmackDown or Raw, they had a tag team match. They had a tag team match, and Booker T won that match.
Yep.
And I know the politics of WWE. So the moment I saw Booker T win that match, I knew that was.
I knew he was losing. Yep.
Yeah, he pinned him 1, 2, 3, clean on the mat in a tag team match, and I knew that was the end of Booker T.
The thing is, the most racist thing they did was, apart from the people like you don't win the championships, was the one where he literally like Booker T was in the toilet and he literally said, Bruce Taylor says, clean that up. I was literally like, fucking dickhead. It's like,
yep, they did that. Yeah.
Yes, it definitely was when Vince said the N-word.
Yeah.
Because we're talking about letting the supremacist win the feud at WrestleMania. After all that dog whistling and racism directed at Booker T, not only did Booker T lose, but the way he lost.
Yeah, it wasn't so much the fact that he lost; it was how he lost, which pisses me off the most.
He hit the pedigree, and it took like I think it was a good like 20 seconds to drape the hand over.
Drape the arm, yeah.
Which is wrestling 101. If it takes you more 20, the guy's kicking out. And it's like,
exactly.
No, he stays there. I'm sorry. This
at
is the same move
at WrestleMania.
That the Ultimate Warrior literally kicked out of, not even given one count off. So either it's the most devastating move in all wrestling, or it's the least devastating move in all wrestling.
Because look, sorry, I don't want.
I'm not black and I'm offended.
Yeah.
Regarding Vince saying the N-word, that was just bad judgment, and it was a one-off.
It was stupid. That's what it was.
This feud, offensive. It's so fucking offensive to let the fucking racist win that feud the way he did.
Mhm.
You know, it's unforgivable. You know, and you know, I bet I'm not even sure.
By the way,
if
we say the character of Triple H is a racist, not Paul Levesque who plays it.
Yeah. Triple H, the character, but
no doubt, but surely, like Triple H himself, like he must have a part to play in how this panned out. You know, like is he okay with letting Booker T lose this? But is he okay with taking an eternity to pin him? Who fucking has these ideas?
and
Somebody's got to be properly racist in this. Honestly, someone has to be racist in this to make it execute like this.
And I also think too, before we move on, it's not just because Booker T was black. The factor that a lot of people overlook is Booker T was a WCW wrestler. And we know how Vince hates if you don't create it, you're not going to get over as well as you think you are.
But the thing is that Booker T was an ex-convict. I mean, to the point that I think he says sometime in...
Yeah, they actually reference that too. Yep.
And the thing is that, like, look, as I said, I'm obviously not a black person. But even I was fucking offended. God knows if you're right till somebody of who's a different ethnicity than me. What
they did was, as a black man, I was pissed. I was like, dude, this is some of the most racially insensitive shit they've ever done. Fuck this shit. I think I actually stopped watching Raw over this. That's how pissed off I was. I went full on SmackDown after this. That's how upset I was. And I was so fucking sick of Triple H hogging the belt anyway.
Like Rock, prior to this, Rock was the only black guy to a degree because he's mixed race to hold the WWE title. And they didn't take into, I believe, Kofi fucking Kingston to be a proper black guy to win the
I think Bobby Lashley was WWE champion.
No, not recently, but no, he was like ECW world champion when Vince bought them out.
I'm trying to think of somebody, and the fact that it's taxing me to think of somebody, but I'm sure there was somebody that I'm forgetting.
Ron Simmons almost became WCW champion.
Mark
Henry was world heavyweight champion, but if you want to count that, you can count that, I guess. But okay,
I still look at World Heavyweight Championship as not the main one. You know, it's the WWE title for me.
Yeah.
But nevertheless, you know, like the execution of that, there is, regardless of maybe Triple H being racist or not racist enough or whatever, to allow that to happen the way it did with the fucking power he held in his hand, it's unforgivable. It's unforgivable. Would it be Vince or him? One of those two motherfuckers had a say in it. That's for sure.
And then Goldberg got hot, and he would beat guys like Chris Jericho and so and blah, 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 leading to Elimination Chamber at SummerSlam 2003, where Triple H proceeds to hit Goldberg with a sledgehammer as Goldberg is going for a spear, and he derails Goldberg. Yeah, he derails Goldberg. Yet another case of...
beat him?
Yeah, he gets his win back a month later at Unforgiven 2003.
Oh,
50-50 booking.
This
50-50 booking.
This was the time in wrestling that I started to, again, I like Triple H, but I don't like him being on the top all the time, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
This is why I don't like him, because I want to see this, I just don't want to see it like this. This is ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
It's ridiculous. So it's like,
I don't mind seeing dominant champions. Again, I like, for example, at the moment, I'm loving Roman Reigns and the fact that he's held the belt for over 500 days.
Getting up there. Yeah. But okay, so because Triple H would go on to play hot potato with the belt with Goldberg, eventually he actually put Goldberg over a couple times. He didn't do it cleanly, I don't think, because that's another thing with Triple H we have to talk about. Triple H never really lost clean whenever he lost the title as a heel. He always had to have some form of fashion of being done dirty somehow. But eventually Triple H would win the belt back for what seemed like forever. And then we're going to fast forward to the saddest moment now looking back in wrestling history. Was when Chris Benoit would win the Royal Rumble and then go on to beat Triple H for the World Heavyweight Championship at WrestleMania 20.
Can I
go ahead.
Something? Right.
No.
Chris Benoit is one of was one of my favorite wrestlers. Because I remember, because again, I was watching WCW before it finished, and he, Eddie Guerrero, Perry Saturn, Dean Malenko, Canyon,
Chavo,
all Rey Mysterio, all those guys were all my favorite wrestlers because
workhorses.
They were not, but they were good wrestlers and stuff like that. And I love the Crippler Crossface. I love that finish. The fact that because he looked like he was legitimately hurting people with it. He wasn't, but he looked like he was.
Yep.
Like, and again, a match I always say is one of the best underrated matches of all time is the Owen Hart tribute match, which was Bret Hart versus Benoit, which is one. If you've never seen that, guys, track it down. It is a fantastic match. It's easily one of my top 10.
It's going to be one of those where I think it's hard to find unless you got Peacock. But yeah, I agree, boss man. But anyway, basically
sorry, but yeah, when Benoit got his championship, this is when I became really interested again because I was like, I wanted Benoit to win because it was him, Shawn Michaels,
and Triple H.
Benoit.
Go ahead, Xanta.
Benoit, he won the Royal Rumble coming at number 1.
Yep.
I never gave him a fucking chance. He was a mid-card wrestler back then. And then he wins it. And then my only disappointment was that the main event should have been Triple H versus Benoit. But I felt the powers that be thought that this was not going to sell, which is why they threw fucking Shawn Michaels in the mix as well. He didn't belong there, Shawn Michaels. But they just put it there to add a sprinkle of bit of star power. But I'm very happy, and I was shocked to see Benoit not only win cleanly, but to make fucking Triple H tap out.
Because Triple H before that, like, he rarely ever tapped out. Like, I think that was one of the first times as a heel he ever tapped out. Thanks for the clarification.
Did he not tap out Triangle as well?
I don't think Kurt Angle ever made him tap out officially in a match. I don't remember.
Well, I mean, Kurt Angle is one of the few people to make the Undertaker tap out.
Yep. Okay, so going forward,
he was American Badass then.
Yep.
American Badass was different than
Phenom. Yeah. But to stay on topic, Triple H would spend the rest of 2004, kind of floundering for the first half, while Benoit would go on to feud with guys like Kane and Edge and Shawn Michaels, and eventually, here we go again. Randy Orton beats Chris Benoit at SummerSlam 2004 while Triple H wraps his feud up with Eugene, which that feud I'd never really cared about. Triple H beating the fuck out of a mentally handicapped person, which is another thing, insensitive thing that WWE did, but that's a story for another day. Fuck you, Vince McMahon. Basically, Triple H felt that Randy Orton was not ready. And I think this is one of those times where
evolution now, by the way.
This is when they started. Yeah, this is when they started breaking up.
Well, the thing is that what people forget is that Triple H at this time was filming Blade Trinity, what it's called.
Yep.
He filmed that because he's one of the henchmen in that film. He's one of the big henchmen because. Yep. And the thing is that I think they put it on. And Orton was actually carrying it pretty well. I think he was pretty young. I think he was like 24, 25 maybe. Yeah, and
I was gonna say before I lose my train of thought, this is one of those times where it's like, I get why they kind of did what they did to Orton, because Orton was a dick back then at 24.
I need to raise my hand.
Yeah.
But
go ahead.
I'm not jumping ahead here, but Triple H eventually fused with Batista, yeah. But before that, they had like a fake feud, remember? And it was all
they teased it. Yeah.
And then it was all the rules, but then Triple H says something to Batista that he does lose too many matches or something like that, But when was that and what was that about? Do you remember?
I will remember as we get further into it, but this is one of those times where I kind of have to defend Triple H taking the belt off of Orton because of Orton's immaturity. It was like they were trying to build Orton up, but Orton had that king shit, like, I'm better than you attitude, and that's not the way to be. So this is one of those times where I'm honestly on Triple H's side in the case of him getting the title back against Randy Orton. But to fast forward to Xanta's point, Triple H and Batista would start to kind of feud over this time where Survivor Series had came up, and I think they did something where the winning team got to control Raw for a month while Eric Bischoff was taking a vacation. I think he was kind of feeling burned out, and he was like, I'm ready to get off TV for a month. And all the guys, the team was Maven, Jericho, Orton, and Benoit got to control Raw for 4 weeks. And during that time, they tried to all take the title off of Triple H, and Triple H beat every single one of them. And then he would start like cracking jokes at Batista's expense, like, oh, you know, I'm the man, Batista, he's just the muscle, or whatever it was that he said. I forgot what the initial premise was, Xanta, but you're right. It was something along those lines. And anyway, Batista would go on to win the Royal Rumble in 2005, and Triple H and Ric Flair tried to get Batista to go to SmackDown to be interjected with the Cena JBL feud to the point where, yeah, it was to the point where they'd driven it so far where Batista showed up at No Way Out to kick the fuck out of JBL because they thought that JBL had tried to run down Batista in the limousine like a week or two before, but it was a ruse all along leading into Triple H versus Batista, the breakup of Evolution, where Batista would turn babyface by doing this, and then he beat the fuck out of Triple H and Ric Flair, powerbombing Triple H through a table, and Triple H would go on to drop the title to Batista at WrestleMania 21.
But there was something unusual about Batista because even though he was like playing a heel, he was getting popped. This is way before this. He was getting popped. He was getting
way
pops.
Before that. Yeah,
he was getting a lot of pops. I do remember, and I didn't know. Like it was really hard to tell, much about Batista because he just seemed to be this big guy who loses. And how we never really knew how good he was on the mic. We found out he ended up being very good on the mic. So fucking good. The guy's now a fucking Hollywood actor. But nevertheless, at the time, it was really hard to tell anything. Where was he going to go? But I just remember all the pops he was getting. It was very unique at the time, to see a heel in a heel faction being the one
getting
that everybody
cheered.
liked.
Yeah.
Sometimes that happens. So because again, like people forget that, like when the Undertaker turned face, it's because the fan reaction was because again, like it's with like a lot of heels, they love to hate them, but then they take up the hate part and start to love them. And I think I think it's because.
But I just never like when Daniel Bryan, like sometimes you can be a really good heel and so fucking good that people appreciate you and they start liking you for it. But because Batista was still in the shadow of Triple H, it was really hard to tell what was his appeal for me, why he was getting so many pops.
Yep.
But I don't know. But nevertheless, it was one of the best things that happened to him because he ended up having a feud with Triple H, which elevated his career.
Yep. And one of the moments that we don't talk about is during the rise of Batista after he beat Triple H, Jim Ross actually got a pinfall victory over Triple H. That's a moment that is not really talked about because Triple H and JR would have an off-again, on-again feud kind of throughout the Attitude Era where JR would always be like, this son of a bitch, he's too heinous, blah, 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 blah. And Triple H would beat the fuck out of JR just because. And JR finally got his comeuppance on Triple H during that time, too.
Well, this was very unusual because I don't look at Triple H as the most generous man in wrestling. At the same time,
because again, like you again, we're gonna get into it.
The Booker T will never be forgiven. But nevertheless, what he did for Benoit, maybe that was trying to repair stuff because he was also a WCW guy. You have to remember that too. Obviously Batista and then John Cena after that, which was for me one of the most amazing at the time. This is before
its time. Before they overdid it 1,000 times. Yeah,
because I never knew that John Cena was going to be the man. I think everybody assumed that Triple H was going to beat John Cena because John Cena just didn't seem like to be the top guy, But then once he won that match, it was John Cena all the fucking way, But he became the new Hulk Hogan.
Yep.
But nevertheless, for Batista, like to win 3 matches on the trot,
cleanly,
every,
It was a sign of the apocalypse, I thought, when that happened. I was like, what the fuck? Like, Triple H actually is selfless for 3 pay-per-views in a row, and it all culminated in a Hell in a Cell match. And then basically what happened was, due to time on the road and, putting in years and years of service, plus trying to have kids, Triple H was taken off of TV for a couple months, and the official end of Evolution came when Triple H beat the fuck out of Ric Flair after Triple H faked a babyface turn during a tag match with Triple H and Ric Flair versus Carlito and Chris Masters. And Triple H would beat the fuck out of Ric Flair, being like, this old relic needs to get his ass out of here. And Triple H and Ric Flair actually had a pretty good match at Survivor Series 2005 before going into the feud with Triple H and Cena.
Triple H put him over.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I do. I just found. I think
it was in his 50s at the time.
Yeah, Triple H doesn't need to put Ric Flair over, in my opinion. But nevertheless, I found Triple H's relationship with Ric Flair to be very bizarre. Because if he's not, he'll beat the fuck out of him, like proper fuck him over, make him bleed and everything.
And then they'd be friends literally like a month or two later, or whatever the hell.
Nates, and all that shit. And then next thing you know, he's feuding with Batista again to get his fucking W back, to get W back on him. When you see fucking Batista do the same thing he's fucking done, on Nate. So it's really stupid in my opinion.
Yep.
I'm not a fan of it,
And then by this time, after the feud with Ric Flair, Triple H started to show signs of a babyface turn, because it was one of those things where it was like John Cena had become that new guy. It was like, we hate you, we don't like you, we know you are Vince's guy, we can't have that. And I thought it was one of the funniest damn things seeing Triple H versus John Cena at WrestleMania 22, because before John Cena got all the hate, Triple H used to be the guy that got all the hate for burying people all the time.
People wanted Triple H to win that match. Sorry,
yep.
man. People wanted Triple H to win because they knew where this was going, the Roman Reigns treatment eventually, and then it was so bizarre.
Can we just do a separate conversation for Triple H's WrestleMania entrances, because they're all awesome.
Yeah, his entrances were awesome. We have to give a shout out to Motorhead.
Like his entrance where at this WrestleMania where he's on the throne and he looks like Conan the Barbarian. And he actually goes, I said, go on to the. He's literally like that. And he literally staring with the helmet and everything. He looks so badass.
I want to appreciate that, but I just look at him being the fucking boss's fucking son-in-law. And that's why he's getting all this fucking preferential treatment. That's how I see it.
Yeah,
what I want to appreciate it. Nobody.
But his best entrance, in my opinion, and I am correct about this, is when in WrestleMania 30 when he basically dressed up like Shell fucking Khan.
Yeah,
with the claw mask and everything, and they have the flaming. You have what's it? With like Charlotte Flair, I think it's Sasha Banks and Bailey behind.
The NXT kids at the time, yeah.
I just want to.
That was fucking awesome.
Yep, go ahead.
I want to go back to the feud, the 22 match with John Cena, because this is a time where I thought, okay, the fans are not liking you, John Cena, and here comes the man Triple H. He's gonna bury your fucking ass.
And he tapped out.
And now thinking was like, what the fuck? It makes no sense. The crowd is booing you. You're not the face of the company, John Cena. Nobody likes you. But this is what made me learn that Vince will fucking force it on you, whether you fucking like it or not. Vince likes it.
And one of the funniest things is the crowd wanted Triple H to win that match, despite the fact that they were hating on him previously. Like 6 months before that, they were hating him. And I'm like...
But it was a message to the company that we don't want John Cena to be the main guy. That's what we want Triple H.
Vince said, fuck it. Yep.
Yeah, because Triple H was better than Devil at the time. So that's why they were going for Triple H. We know what he's about. But we don't want this guy. You're forcing down our fucking throat. So we're going to boo him at WrestleMania. We're going to cheer for fucking Triple H. But no, he went against script. And as much as John Cena was getting booed, fucking WWE was fucking giving him as much John Cena for almost 2 decades.
Yep, they did it anyway. Yep. And this is where we're gonna kind of hurry this shit up, because fuck this shit. This is when they brought DX back. I fucking hated it. They brought him
I
back to
hated
feud
it
with
as
male
well.
cheerleaders. Yep,
Oh,
I
oh,
hated
oh,
it.
oh, oh, oh. Right, but no. The male cheerleaders weren't the worst bit. Do you know what the worst
Yeah.
bit was?
What?
The fat, oily, naked fucker. That was
Yeah,
the worst bit.
that
Because
dude.
they had this
Yep.
kind of
Big Dick
tash,
Johnson.
Yeah, Big Dick Johnson.
Oh, that shit. Fuck that shit off right now.
Yeah, fuck this DX shit. I'm gonna skip this because I fucking hated it. So okay, we're gonna fast forward a little bit. Triple H tears his quad the second time after DX fucks with the McMahons and fucks with the cheerleaders throughout the rest of 2006. Edge and Randy Orton are like, okay, fuck DX. We're sick of this shit. We're going to end D-Generation X. And Edge and Orton become a tag team. They become Rated RKO. Triple H tears his other quad on a spine buster. And a lot of people may not remember, Triple H was originally supposed to be the one feuding with John Cena again going into WrestleMania 23. But because of the quad tear, it ended up going to Shawn Michaels. And Triple H would, yeah.
It was a good feud. I mean, like their match against on Raw in England.
That was one of the best matches I've ever seen.
Yeah, better than WrestleMania.
Oh, yeah. But okay, Triple H comes back because Booker T, King Booker, was disrespecting Jerry Lawler and all that crap. And Triple H is like, you know what? Fuck this. I'm going to come back. And Triple H buries Booker T again. Booker T leaves the company. And then Triple H and Orton. Here we go with this shit this is when they started doing this shit where you saw the same guys in rotation all the fucking time.
But they just changed who's the heel and who's the face. That's what they did.
Yep.
And this time Triple H was the face and
Orton was the heel. Yep. And Orton and Triple H would swap the. Go ahead.
I was going to say, but this is a time when I think they had what's the word? The Shawn Michaels Undertaker back to back.
No, this is like 3 years before that, but we're getting there.
All right,
but okay, basically, what happened was Triple H beat Orton for the title, had to defend it against Umaga, rest in peace Umaga, and then Orton got it back, and then Triple H would get into like a feud with Jeff Hardy. Jeff Hardy actually would beat Triple H, which was a holy shit moment at the time, to earn a WWE title match against Randy Orton, and Orton had to beat Jeff Hardy. And then John Cena, who tore his pectoral muscle, came back at Royal Rumble, eliminated Triple H to win the Royal Rumble. Madison Square Garden went apeshit. And then you started to see Orton, Triple H, and Cena and Batista all fucking rotate throughout 2008, 2009 for the WWE title. And I'm not going to lie, this is when I completely lost interest in the World Heavyweight title picture because I got tired of the same fucking guys over and over and over again. And I was like, fuck this shit.
Randy Orton is like, he should have like him and John Cena should have been the Triple H and the Rock of that era, but it never really turned out to be like that, you know. And him feuding with everybody. I think Randy Orton was the weak link.
Yeah,
you know, like he just, I don't know what it is. I mean, he can sometimes have really good matches. He can.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is that's missing about him that just doesn't get him over like those other three. I don't know what it is.
Yep. But yeah, Triple H would go on to, he would later win the fucking title back in like a fatal 4-way match at Backlash 2008, and he would hold the fucking thing.
Was it the Hollywood Scramble? Or the
yeah, they're about to. Yeah, they did the breakfast scramble match.
Yeah.
Triple H was only in it for 5 minutes, and he had the nerve to say it was the hardest match he'd ever been in his life. I'm like, you were only in it for 5 fucking minutes, and of course you win.
They only did that match once, didn't they? They never did it again.
They don't. They only did it once. Yep.
Yeah, weird, very weird.
But again, I didn't mind this. But I didn't mind this title run because I think this was one of his last stuff.
Yeah, this was one of the last times he had it, thank God. And then He would lose it back to Orton, I think, altogether, and then we got into the PG DX, which basically was there just for Shawn Michaels' retirement. That's the only reason they brought him back.
Yeah,
Triple H would go on to.
This is where we get back to back Undertaker, Shawn Michaels matches.
Yeah.
Which were phenomenal matches. I can't remember who Triple H was fighting against. Was he in title match?
Triple H worked with Orton. Triple H worked with Orton as the WWE champion, I think, for one of the last times. And Triple H would go on to beat the fuck out of Randy Orton in a home invasion angle. And they had all this shit where Randy Orton was fucking with Triple H. He RKO'd Stephanie McMahon. He kissed Stephanie McMahon. Triple H got pissed. And then they had Vicky Guerrero be like, yeah, Triple H, if you lose, you get disqualified. And what did they do? They had Triple H beat Randy Orton anyway, proving no point that this shit doesn't fucking matter.
I remember they did their finishes at the very beginning of the match.
Yep.
And it popped a little bit, but then just became a regular match, and it was bullshit. It was absolute bullshit, yeah.
And then they would go on to after WrestleMania 25, Triple H and Shawn Michaels would reform DX, and then they would feud with Ted DiBiase and Cody Rhodes. They had some good matches there, but go ahead.
Legacy.
Yeah, the Legacy. Yep, the Legacy. That's what they were called. And then they would go on to feud with Jericho, which was a really good TLC match at the end of 2009 for the Unified Tag Team Championships. And I think this is one of the only times Triple H had ever held a tag title in his career. I don't remember him, other than Stone Cold. I think this is the only other time he ever won a tag title. I don't think he ever won them.
It would be Shawn Michaels, I'm sure he did.
Yeah. And then after that, Triple H would go on to... Oh, yeah, they had Hornswoggle as a DX mascot, apparently. How the fuck did I...
God.
Yeah, how the fuck did I completely...
It just makes you look back... You look at all the political correctness of the WWE from yesteryear. That's right up there, making a fucking, a small man a fucking mascot because he's a wee man. Fucking ridiculous. I know they made him a kid before he could talk, because he was going all the fucking time. Before he could fucking talk, he was supposed to pretend to be a child. He's a fucking man. What I mean? And they made this man a child. It's so stupid. So stupid. Oh, Vince, I hate you so much.
Yep.
Yes. So anyway, I think this is around the second.
This is around the time that Shawn retired. Yeah. We're getting.
I think he got injured again. I think this is when he got injured again.
Yeah, because this is when, basically, long story short, Big Show and The Miz would win the tag titles from DX, and then DX would disband because Shawn was like, I have to fight The Undertaker, blah, 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 blah. And then Triple H would go on to eliminate Sheamus from the Elimination Chamber match, and this is the case of Sheamus should have won the match against Triple H at WrestleMania, but because Triple H would beat Sheamus at WrestleMania, and then Triple H got hurt again, and I think he took the rest of 2010 off, and this is basically when Triple H had retired as a full-time wrestler, and we never saw him full-time again. And this is the start of when Triple H would go on to become the COO or whatever the fuck his title was.
This is after that, because the thing is, he was off for a while, and then Undertaker's...
we're getting into when the Undertaker... Yeah, and then
returns with, with Johnny Cash, it was 11-11, whatever it was, and he comes back and he does that whole entrance, not to his own, the bong and stuff like that, he does it to Johnny Cash.
And then here comes Triple H right out, and then he's like...
Literally, the second he's back to the is all about the game, and he's dressed up in leather and all that sort of stuff. And he comes up, and then he doesn't say a word, he just looks to the side, and he looks back, and then the Undertaker looks to the side, and it's like, all right, so we're getting... It's
like, hey, are we going to go, motherfucker? Yeah, let's go. And then they had an awesome kick-ass match at WrestleMania 27.
I've got to say, by the way, this is one of my favorite Triple H
matches of all time. But his entrance was dope too. Yeah,
because he comes out to fucking for Who the Well Tones from Metallica, where it's like, bong, I love that so good away. And you see the gladiators come forward, and then all of a sudden he's in the skull makeup, and then he comes back and he comes to the ring. That was an awesome match.
Yep.
Was that the Hell
Go
in a
ahead.
Cell, or was it the year after?
Hell in the Cell's the next year, but we've got stuff to cover first before we get to that.
Now he's CEO of Triple H. Has he had his hair cut yet?
Yes, actually,
No.
yeah, he's about to cut his hair. He's about to cut his hair, but
That was a big
basically,
deal at the time.
yep, this is one of the last times this is the time where Triple H. Now we're going to get into where he buries CM Punk, because CM Punk at this time, he was doing that shit where he was like, okay, I'm taking the WWE title. I'm leaving.
The best in the world.
Yep, I'm the best in the world. I'm getting the fuck out of here. He would go on to beat John Cena at Money in the Bank 2011.
No, this is the next year. This is when that happens. Because
No, 2011. It's all within the same year, because here's what happens.
Is it? But, all right, go on. I did
Triple H.
You carry on.
Yeah, Triple H would go on to lose to The Undertaker, and then he would go on to be the COO, and then he would be the guest referee at SummerSlam 2011, where CM Punk beat John Cena despite John Cena having his foot on the rope. And then Kevin Nash would come out, powerbomb Punk, and then Del Rio would win the fucking title, and then Triple H would bury CM Punk. Triple H basically went into semi-retirement, come out of semi-retirement to beat CM Punk, then go away again. Because Triple H, I guess.
Yeah, I remember CM Punk from his point of view. He was talking about how he would be talking to Vinnie Mac, and he'd be talking to Triple H, and they'd be talking about this. Triple H would, Triple H needed to lay down.
Yep.
CM Punk. It was best. What's best for fucking business?
Mm-hmm.
But unfortunately, egos run that company.
Yep.
And if it doesn't matter how you could be the most popular fucker in the world, but if Vince doesn't fucking like you, then
you ain't getting over.
Yeah, and Triple H doesn't like you ain't fucking getting over.
Yep.
And unfortunately, they would rather bury a talent who's very popular with the fans than put him over, because this is the egotistical, this is narcissism of what stopped me watching the WWE. They didn't give a fuck about what we wanted, only what they wanted. And these are the sort of incidences that made you realize that.
And then after Triple H buries CM Punk, Triple H would go on to feud with Kevin Nash, which is like, oh my God. I'm like, dude.
Did they have one of the all-time worst ladder matches of all time?
Yep. The sledgehammer match, where I think the first dude to get the sledgehammer and use it wins, and Triple H would beat Kevin Nash. Kevin Nash, I think, would subsequently retire. And then they
I remember that too. I remember very, very what Triple H said. It doesn't matter who's wrong or right. Only might makes right, or something along those lines.
Yep.
He said that, and I knew Triple H was going to fucking win that, and I knew he was going to fucking target Kevin Nash's knees. I'm so glad he did.
Yep.
Everyone talks about how the guy's got shit knees.
And then here goes. This is, I think, the last really awesome feud Triple H had in his career. Was the end of January. Triple H is like, I'm about to fire John Laurinaitis. Ding, the gong goes off. Taker's like, okay, motherfucker, you kick my ass, but I'm getting ready to come back and beat your ass. And they make it a Hell in a Cell match, and Shawn played the referee role, and Undertaker was fucking with both Shawn and Triple H by being like, Triple H, I'm just going to tell it like it is. Shawn Michaels has always been better than you anyway. And the most famous spot of that match would be the super kick pedigree combo.
This is when the Undertaker had that mohawk.
Yeah, when he fucking cut his hair and he looked old. Yeah, and the Undertaker would go on to 20-0, and this is when I wish Taker would have retired. But that's another story for another day.
It was a perfect ending where he basically made Triple H maybe tap up to Hell's Gate or whatever it is. But yeah, I thought this was a perfect ending. It was a great. I mean, the thing is that the bit where Shawn Michaels hits the Undertaker and then Triple H does the pedigree ending, I thought was great.
Yeah, I thought that was the coolest thing in that match. And then they hug after it's all over. Triple H would go on to feud with Brock Lesnar, and then Triple H actually did the right thing at SummerSlam 2012. by having Brock break Triple H's arm, and he would go away again for a few months, thus leading to WrestleMania 29, where Triple H would
If I
beat
can
Brock
interrupt,
because
because in my opinion, this was like WWE realizing, hold on, we bring back Brock Lesnar just to get fucking beaten by John Cena on his debut fucking match. We need to rectify this quick because Brock Lesnar is going to get taken seriously. So not only did he beat Triple H, they also made him beat the streak afterwards as well.
Yep.
So,
but okay, yeah, basically he would go on to beat Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania 29, and then after that, they did this stupid ass concussion storyline after Triple H also beat Brock Lesnar inside of a steel cage because Triple H. Actually, no, Brock would beat Triple H, I think. Yeah, Brock would beat Triple H to end the feud. And then they did this storyline where Curtis Axel, Kurt Henning's kid, gave Triple H a concussion, and that just killed Curtis Axel's push out of nowhere because, once again, Vince McMahon, Stephanie McMahon, and Triple H. And then they would go on to do the Authority storyline where Triple H was like, I'm all about giving the fans what I want, blah, 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 blah. Daniel Bryan goes on to beat John Cena for the WWE title at SummerSlam and one of the best matches of Daniel Bryan's career. Triple H turns heel. Randy Orton cashes in Money in the Bank, becomes the WWE champion. And then fast forward, the Authority just makes life a living hell for everybody for about 6-7 months. Triple H does the right thing by putting Daniel Bryan over at WrestleMania 30, and Bryan got ascended.
With the most awesome entrance he's ever had.
Yeah.
They had no choice because
Go ahead.
They had no choice because this is where the fucking fans were making themselves heard.
Oh yeah.
And they were hijacking matches, and they wanted and they demanded that Daniel Bryan win the fucking match, and so they had no choice. But I do remember prior to all of that, they were trying to do this Daniel Bryan iron with fucking John Cena, where fucking John Cena wins a match, and then Stephanie and Triple H look so disappointed, like, oh, we didn't want John Cena to fucking win. Shut the fuck up. You always want John Cena to fucking win. It's always about fucking John Cena. And you're going to try and sell it to me that you're not happy that John Cena is fucking winning matches? Go fuck yourselves. Seriously. I was so fucking... like, oh God, these fucking idiots. They really played their fans as fucking idiots. I fucking hate them. I fucking hate them. Anyway.
And then, okay, kind of fast forwarding a little bit because there's some shit that happened. Okay, I think we're just going to go ahead and move on to the Triple H Sting feud because, yeah, we kind of need to speed this up a little bit. Sting would show up at Survivor Series. The Authority was wrecking shit. Seth Rollins was the top guy at this point because Triple H was kind of semi-retired. Sting shows up. He starts to fuck with Triple H throughout a few months. And this is one of those cases where Sting should have stuck to his guns and never, ever fucking went to WWE because it's another case of WWE burying WCW because the winner writes the rules. Simple as that.
Can I just say
I agree.
Right, can I just disagree? Because like Sting is my favorite wrestler of all time. And again, like I don't care whether he's walking backwards. I look forward to seeing him. And the thing is that the fact he was here. I mean, the thing is that entrance music they had for him was terrible. But
yeah, I wish they would have secured the rights to his WCW music.
That crow music, you know, that. You know that.
I was what? Didn't they secure the rights?
They have the rights. They have the fucking rights. What are you talking about? Security rights. They have the rights.
Yeah.
Anyway, I love the fact that he did the famous Scorpion Death Drop to Triple H. I mean, the thing is that you know, it was good to watch. And again, the thing is that you know, Sting at that time I think was like in his 50s. I think late 50s. And he still. I mean, the thing is, but he didn't have the talent around him to protect him. He had a guy who was in his late 40s in Triple H.
Yep.
Because Triple H is what now 50? Yeah, he's now like in his 50s.
Yep.
So like you know, so who's going to protect the other? The thing is that I love Sting and I love seeing him. I think he should have been a WWE. It shouldn't be with Triple H. He should have been like with a Daniel Bryan or somebody else who's like an NWA/WCW fan, and we could have seen that.
Yep. But Triple H would go on to beat Sting, and because why not? And then they would plant the seeds for the very same WrestleMania. They would start to plant the seeds for Ronda Rousey coming in because they were going to do a tag match with Roman and The Rock, or The Rock and Ronda Rousey versus Triple H and Stephanie. But that never fully materialized. Fast forwarding, Triple H would win the title again in late 2015, early 2016, only to put over Roman Reigns in one of the most boring fucking matches in WrestleMania history that did nothing for either fucking guy. And then
matches like that, they become boring because once again you see the politics.
Yep.
You know, it's just all politics. These are politic matches. These are matches the hierarchy wants and not what the fan wants.
Yep.
And so the fans don't care.
And then Triple H would go on to betray Seth Rollins in 2016, costing him the Universal title. Seth Rollins would go on to defeat Triple H at WrestleMania. Seth Rollins would adopt the pedigree, blah, 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 blah. And then Triple H would go on to be the babyface in NXT because he created NXT. NXT was kicking ass at this time. NXT takeovers were must-see pay-per-views every time they aired. And then they did this pointless-ass Raw versus SmackDown Survivor Series match shit, which the most famous thing to happen out of that was Braun going to Triple H being like, if you ever fucking touch me again, I'll kill you, blah, 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 blah. And, of course, they didn't do anything with that because we don't do continuity. Because fuck continuity and logic.
Exactly.
And then Ronda Rousey finally made her WWE debut with Kurt Angle, and they would go over Triple H and Stephanie McMahon.
Good match, actually. Interesting tag match.
Mm-hmm. And then, just to fast forward, Triple H and Batista would finally wrap up their feud because Batista politicked for a match for years against Triple H. Triple H had never beaten Batista before, to my knowledge. And yeah, Triple H retired Batista finally. Granted, it was like years too late.
I saw that on the cards as well. You know, like and Batista was doing a Rock at the time. You know, he's a big Hollywood star. You know, so like he's only going to come in for a match or two and fuck off back to Hollywood again. And that is never going to be. That's the thing when the Rock comes back, Batista comes back, even John Cena coming back. They're never going to stay for long because you know Hollywood is always calling.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
But Triple H, the last match to date that he had was he lost to Randy Orton in a match at Super Showdown. But other than that, that's basically been it. Triple H has just gone on to be the authority figure for Raw and SmackDown here and there occasionally.
But also, he's behind the scenes. He's sort of marshaled NXT from, I think it was like for a good 5-6 years there.
Oh, no, it was longer than that. It was... NXT was the best work he's ever done in his career. When he took over NXT from Vince from about 2012 to pretty recently, Triple H made NXT like an indie promotion, and it was some of the coolest shit that they had ever done. And now, to wrap this up, it's kind of a struggle between Triple H and Vince McMahon in real life because Vince McMahon came in and took NXT from Triple H. And Triple H has had heart issues recently. I hope that he's doing well. But that's pretty much it for Triple H's career up to this point in time, is that he was the head guy in NXT, and now they don't know what the fuck to do with him.
Well, there is rumors that he might leave.
No, but he doesn't need to be on the screen.
Yeah.
You know, like...
No. He might leave WWE. He might leave WWE altogether.
No way. No way, man. He's not going to... He's got a fucking nest egg.
Those are very going on rumors within the wrestling community that he's going to leave.
Do you think he's going to leave the...
He ain't going nowhere.
The guy's the second or third most powerful man in the company. There's no way he's going to leave that. With the biggest company, regardless of how big AEW is, there's no way he's going to leave WWE.
Here's what's going to happen, boss man, because I know as much as we all want it to happen, it'll never happen. Vince McMahon is going to have to die in order for Triple H to take over the company. That's the realistic hope. As cold as that sounds, as callous as it sounds, Vince will never retire. He will die before Triple H takes over. And I think it's to the point where even when Triple H takes over, it may become a more wrestling heavy product. But even the WWE themselves have admitted we're never going to reach the heights we once did. It's not going to happen.
Yeah.
I think Triple H has a good mind for the business. Don't get me wrong, but the work rate style of pro wrestling now that we're all into, it doesn't draw like a lot of people think it does.
It
And
needs to be more global. It needs to be more global, in
yeah,
my opinion. Like instead
hmm
of like maybe less shows, but more around the world.
yeah,
Because honestly, they have such a large following outside of of America, where people always pop and appreciate the matches, and that's what they need to do. Do WrestleMania, do pay-per-views outside of the country. Go to United Kingdom, go to Australia, go to all these other countries where people will love you and will appreciate you and sell out tickets and buy all the merchandise. That is the way forward now, in my opinion. More of
hmm
that and less in America. Like obviously do shows in America, but just as much
expand.
as expand, they have to do that. In my
hmm
opinion, it's gonna
Yeah,
obviously mean they're gonna have to travel a lot more. But COVID as well is not helping too.
yeah,
But but
Obviously,
also
yeah.
but also the fact is the product is not lustrable. Because the thing is, even AEW, which I often will stick up for, their product is so uneven. You have
yeah.
really good stuff followed by really really bad stuff. It's like schizophrenic programming. And you're like you
hmm
can't really get into it.
Some weeks,
it
yeah, some weeks are good, some weeks are eh. And I'm like, I think what it is with wrestling, and I'm just going to call it what it is with the wrestling in general. I think the magic is over. I think the hype is over. I don't think you will see a resurgence in the business again. It's not going to happen.
I agree. I
Yep.
also feel like I think predictability, is a problem as well. Like n- j- people should be able to watch a match and have no idea who's going to win.
Yep.
And unfortunately, too often, when we get like we don't get we don't get enough curveballs. Like every match is very predictable. Now and again, we might get it wrong, but most
hmm
of the time, we kind of know what's gonna fucking happen, and
Yep.
that's the problem with wrestling as well.
Yeah, I don't think you're going to see a resurgence again, mainly because everybody knows that it's not real. Everybody knows that kayfabe died years and years and years ago. You can't bring back the characters that people identify with. I know people are going to pop for The Rock coming back for his umpteenth retirement match. I'm in the minority that's not because I've seen the best of The Rock. Um, thank you, Rock. Let's get you in the Hall of Fame and let's move on. Same thing with Triple H. Thank you, Triple H. Go run the company. Let's move on from you. We have to move on from the Attitude Era. As profitable as it was, as awesome as it was, we will never have a time like that in the business again. It's not going to happen.
Yeah, the injury. I can't visualize it, but there needs to be an evolution of some sort. Because I feel like it's been very stagnant for a couple of decades without the product evolving in the right direction.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously, like the backstage politics and Vince having an iron grip doesn't help as well. It puts people like myself off the company, you know, which is why I very much appreciate AEW, because you can tell that these guys are having a good time. But for someone like me, it's already too late. I'm
Mm-hmm.
done. I'm absolutely done. But yes, I think the best years of wrestling are over now, and it's going to be very hard for this sort of product to continue.
Yep.
Yeah.
I think with AEW, I think their best thing is they're going to have their moments. Like they're going to go up, they're going to go down. It's going to be like you said, boss man. It's going to go in cycles. That's the way they are as a company. I think they're doing
well
good stuff, but they've got a ways to go, in my view.
well the thing they need to do is take the talent who should be on television off it and then just put on good products. Because again, if you make a good product, it doesn't matter whether people believe it or not. If you make a
Yep.
good product, it's like if you make a good TV show. It's like people don't think I'm trying to think of it that Law and Order is real,
Yep.
but people can invest it. People can very invest in it because of the way they do it and all that sort of stuff. And same thing's going to happen to wrestling, right? People know it's not real, but people know that films aren't real, and they still invest in it. It's how you do it. And the thing is,
Yep.
if you just are like If you don't insult people's intelligence, they'll come back. The thing is that
I don't know, man. I don't know.
I
I
think
don't
the problem
know.
with wrestling, I think the problem with wrestling, there was a time when people thought it was real, which is
Mhm.
what made it so popular in the first place. Now, after the cat went out the bag, okay, people adjusted and so on, but slowly, people are starting to leave. You know, like myself, like Keto. You know, we're chipping away, like yourself, even Jose. You know,
Yeah, I don't watch it anymore.
you watch it so little now. Like you know, it's just it's had its time. You know, I really do, and I don't know. Maybe we're getting older and we're growing out of it. Who knows? You
Yeah,
know, I'm
and
not sure
you
if the younger
also
generation will appreciate it.
have to take in consideration too, boss man. It's not like it was 20 years ago. Remember the days of when we had to watch it live? Like you had a VHS tape so you could record it, but with the way technology has moved on now, there's no reason to watch wrestling live. And that goes for AEW too. Why watch live when you could always watch it the next day? You know
On
what I'm saying?
YouTube, you can go show the highlights.
Yep.
fast forward through this is why I'm saying it's imperative that they put on quality products all the time, because then you get much less people fast forwarding it through. I say, do you know what? I've got to check that out live, because if you fast forward it through and people talk about, let's say, a good women's match or a good match that you fast forwarded through, it's like shit, I should have watched that, and you go back
Yep.
and watch it later. It's like, yeah, that was good, and then the next week it triggers that thing of, I can't fast forward. Maybe I need to watch this live, and it gets you into the habit of watching it live. I'm saying that's how you cultivate a fan base in this new digital age. Is that put on a quality product from beginning to end, minimize the amount of crap you got on it. I mean, you know, you're always going to get crap, even if
Yep.
you're the best product ever.
I know I can say with certainty, I know WWE will never be must see on a weekly basis ever again. They're never going to have that. That's over. That I can say with 100% certainty. With AEW, we'll see where they are in a year. I'll give them another year. We'll see where they're at. They're doing good right now, but they got to step their game up. As far as Triple H goes, the best thing that he can do is he's just got to bide his time. That's pretty much all that needs to be said.
He doesn't need to be on
What
television
about Nick
anymore.
Kardashian?
No.
He just needs to be a guy
He
who
could be a
runs
authority
the
figure
business.
Yep.
Yeah, but we don't need him as a
He could
character
be
anymore.
No, we could have him as an authority figure because fans respect him and stuff like that. So
The authority
he
figure
could be the
thing
guy
is
making up.
Oh,
the authority figure thing is played, man. Nobody's
As
ever
long
going
as-
to beat Mr. McMahon.
look, as long as he's got his head above water and he's on screen, people will expect him at some point to have a match or some shit like that. Honestly, like, just hang up your fucking boots.
Yeah,
You know,
I'm done.
I don't want. Yeah, we don't need to see him wrestle anymore. We don't need just do your behind the scenes like Shawn Michaels is doing. Like a lot of these other wrestlers you see are doing. Like when that dickhead attacked Seth Rollins, I saw fucking Jimmy Wang Yang. You know,
Yep.
you know, like
I saw Michael Hayes backstage.
yeah, like we know these guys are still there. Just be that, you know. You know, just pop your head up as a CEO now and again to get.
I'm okay with Triple H only coming out during the big pay-per-views just to say welcome to such and such. That's it. That's all I want to see him do. Be like, welcome to WrestleMania. That should be his role. Yeah.
Yeah, I would like him to do a Michael Buffer on the Royal Rumble.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Oh, it's okay. Like, can remember to go, just suck it or whatever, and then the Royal Rumble starts. I wouldn't mind that. That would be nostalgic. That would be really good.
Yep.
You know, but other than that, you know, we don't need to keep push. You know, like sometimes you have to put some people on the shelf and say, "You're done.
Yeah.
You're done."
And
you know,
Triple H is one of those people now where I'm like, okay, it's over. It's over.
He's 50. He's like 55. You know, like.
Yeah, let me see before we go.
Maybe 52, I think.
Yeah, 52.
Yeah, there you go. Like, I think once you're over 50, go on.
Okay, so
yep.
So let's all summarize. What's our opinion of Triple H? So I'll give my opinion.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, I think that he gets more shit than he deserves. I mean, the thing is that he didn't tell people to book himself in those positions; they just did. The thing is that he was a good technical style, could take the guy from A to B to C to D. I think he was given too much camera time, and I think his married Stephanie gave people the perception that he got all these titles and all these prestige that he got was because he married into the family. right? And I think that he didn't need to do that to be who he is because he has a lot of talent. And he's a solid hand. He's the sort of person you can rely on. He's not going to be turned up to a wrestling drunk or out of shape or late or whatever it is. He's going to be professional, and he's going to get and he's going to when the time is right, he's going to put over the right guy, and he's going to know who that right guy is. The reason he put over Cena, put over Benoit, he put over Daniel Bryan, he put over. Now the thing is, there are times that he didn't do that, and I think I blame the company for that more than I blame him. Because again, no way he politics to say Booker T needs to be, I need to be Booker T, because I think that was the Booker's call, not his. But that's my personal opinion. Anyway, you guys go.
All right, Santa.
In my opinion, regarding the Booker T match, he could have just pinned him, and maybe face the repercussions of not taking 20 years to pin him. Just fucking pin the guy. I'd rather that and him do that than what came from that. But in the back of my mind, I've always wondered, where would he be as a wrestler if he didn't marry Stephanie McMahon? And you can't help but wonder that. Where would he genuinely be? Would he still be a top tier guy, or would he be a mid carder? Not doubting.
Or would he even be in the WWE at all?
Exactly.
I mean, if the relationship didn't work out.
Not doubting his talent, he did hog his promos would go too long, too often. He would always have 25 fucking minute matches. These are the sort of things he was allowed to have because he was the fucking boss's son-in-law. And so, like, once again, where would he be without the sort of power that he had? Because we will never know. At least we know people like Rock and Austin got there with their talent. Their talent took them where they are. With Triple H, you'll just never know. And that's the thing. He's a mystery. He'll always be a mystery. But nevertheless, I guess he played the game, and you got to credit him for that.
Yep. I think with Triple H, I think that he's going to go down as one of the best to ever do this gig, undoubtedly, but he is overrated. I'm going to call it like I see it. I think he's very overrated. I think he honestly is also overhated too. I think people do have a tendency to give him too much shit, but there are things that I'm not going to forgive. Like, I'm not going to forgive the Booker T thing. There's no fucking way. No one will ever be able to convince me any positives of the Booker T Triple H thing. I do think that he won matches that he shouldn't have won. I do think that he shouldn't have beat Sting at WrestleMania 31 a few years back. I think, he should have put over guys like Rob Van Dam. I think he should have put over Shawn Michaels a little bit more often. I would have liked to have seen him put over Randy Orton when Randy Orton started coming up as a babyface. But, with Triple H, he's one of those dudes that, yeah, he has politicked, but who hasn't? I mean, even The Undertaker has been known to refuse to put certain guys over. Like, there was the time that Undertaker refused to put over Brock Lesnar, and that's something that doesn't get talked about. But Triple H has buried a lot of guys. And to make it in this business, you have to have a cutthroat mentality, and Triple H definitely had that. And now, as the future owner of the company, it'll be interesting to see what kind of booker he's going to be. Is he going to be the booker that gives back to the business, or is he going to be the booker that has his hand-chosen favorites? We won't know until that time comes. But in the meantime, Triple H has done what he needed to do to get where he is. It just remains to be seen what the future holds. And I often wonder, what would it have been like had the relationship between Triple H and Stephanie never worked out? Would he still be here? Would he have retired, 10 years ago? We will never know. But undoubtedly, Triple H does deserve respect for his contributions in the business, regardless of whether you like him or not. That's my view.
Okay, well, before we hang up our boots,
Yep.
I just want to say that next week we're going to be doing a wrestling roundtable of misused mid-carders, the tale of mediocrity. So yourself was a boss man, if you're joining us for that next week, think of all the mid-carders you can think of, people who maybe even was at the top for a little while, but they got dropped back down to mid-card, pretty much stayed there. People who had a chance, a sniffed at the top, but never got it. Like your Christians, like your fucking Jake the Snake Roberts. Yeah, he'll be back.
Yep.
But basically along those lines, people who never got the time at the top that they deserve, never reached there or never stayed there for long, pretty much mid-carded the whole fucking time. That's what we'll be talking about next week. I think both in all forms of wrestling companies, whether it be the WWE, one second, let me get Bossman back. Whether it be the WWE, WCW, TNA, AEW, it's all about the mid-carders.
All right. Good.
Well,
the mid-carders will be getting their due.
Well, for me, it's Damien Sandow.
Save it.
We're talking about next week.
Yeah, so, save that.
So if you could just take us out, Jose.
All right. Thank you guys for watching From the Lame to the Game. I am King Barrius. This is the Cerebral Gazassin. Thank you, Santa Claus, for joining us. And thank you guys for watching. We would also like to say, please like and subscribe, share with your friends, tweet this, Facebook this, Instagram this. Do what you do. We are the greatest YouTube channel you've never fucking heard of. And thank you guys for watching. Like and subscribe. And we are out. Peace.